World of Warcraft Classic era, in that there's no expansion. But this is Season of Discovery Phase 3, just for the sake of mentioning that for my intro. Wow, that's really loud, actually. I need to get my headphones here. I am not well organized. I am such an amateur. So I'm on my druid, and I want to make something perfectly clear. So here's where I'm at. Loch Madan. Some people call it Loch Madan. I don't really give a crap what you call it. This is where I'm at. Okay? You get the double XP here. This is not, hardcore or anything like that. 300% increased gold from quests. This is something that could happen. It helps if I explain what I'm talking about, so I'm really excited. Whereby I could be playing Season of Discovery. I'm on my druid for the most part. Then all of a sudden, I'm on a Tauren warrior. I'm on a orc shaman or something. You're like, what is going on? But I'm still calling it part 1, part 2. And the reason for that, and I might explain that in each of my videos, is it's still technically a continuation of me. In the sense of, this is like a gamer vlog. You've got people, and I've said this 1,000 times, where they go to the dollar store, and they're like, look, I bought some candles. And people are invested in that. They care. Some people do. So for me, I'm doing the same thing, but I'm not showing you some bullshit from the dollar store. I'm like, hey, look at the game that I'm playing currently. Look at the character I'm playing. I don't want to do like Torn Part 1, all this kind of stuff. And because the XP is pretty decent, I figure that I may want to play more than one character. Now, for my hardcore hunter, I mean, I don't even mention that I'm just playing the hunter, but I'm also only playing the hunter. No shit. Shit balls, but that's okay because they're like level 11. And I'm still getting a little bit of damage there. So I'm following the guide. And naturally, I'm going to be ahead of the curve. I'm supposed to be 11 to 13, and I just dinged 17. And that's because, again, that, double XP there. So I'm going to be a higher level. Yeah, so that's kind of the idea there. I'm jumping around. I found out you can dual spec in Phase 3 of Classic, which is just absolutely amazing. But to give me that true sense of Classic, which this still does, I do play hardcore. I'm probably going to take a bit of a backseat to it, take my time. I'm not really all that motivated now after dying multiple times and whatnot, but I'm having a lot of fun with my dwarf hunter in the hardcore mode. But over here, I'm not going to lie, it's much more relaxing. It's still classic. There's no expansions. There's none of that bullshit. You know what I just realized? How big is my camera? Okay, good. That's good. I wanted to make sure it wasn't like half the screen. Nobody needs to see that. So that's what makes it exciting. I can make mistakes. I can die. There's gear and skills and runes that you normally wouldn't get. And that's basically the allure now, isn't it? In my first video, I didn't really know what was going on. It was all new to me. I had literally, had read up on it for, barely 5 minutes. I'm not saying I'm an expert. However, these are some of the runes that you can just a free-for-all, just add them. Like, the mana cost of your Wrath is free. It's 100% lower. And on top of that, you have a 12% chance that your next healing touch within 15 seconds is an instant cast. And it's castable in any form. Living Seed. When you critically heal your target with any non-periodic healing spell, you plant a living seed on them for 50% of the amount healed. Life Bloom. We all know that skill, Life Bloom. It's in Classic. That's amazing. Sunfire is in Classic. What? I could get Mangle within the first couple of levels. What? These are all the cool things. It's almost kind of like a what-if scenario. And a lot of people will be like, that's not the true Classic experience. Then, bitch, don't play it. That's what I've always said before. Life is about options. And if you give people enough options, this is a potential beta test, if you will, for the lack of a better term, for almost what could be Classic Plus. This game mode, in my opinion, keeps it fresh, makes it a little bit less monotonous. You can level 2 characters for the price of 1. You're getting triple the amount of rewards for gold from rewards. Like, I don't know. It's like, oh well, it's faster, it's easier, it's not the real great. Then don't play it. But if you want a little bit of a fast forward, want a little bit of a boost, especially when I'm playing self-found hardcore mode, I'm sorry, but this is definitely a nice change. My approach is completely different because in hardcore classic, for obvious reasons, I have to be so careful. I gotta make sure I don't blink as much as I do. 180, Blink 187. No, Blink 182. That's the band, Blink 182. I blink about that many times a minute. But when I'm playing hardcore, self-found, I'm like, don't blink. You might miss something or die. So that's what makes this fun. At the end of the day, at the end of the night, why does anybody play games? It doesn't even matter what your reason is. The end result is you want to be entertained. You want to have fun. Why care? Not who cares, because obviously people care. I'm saying why care how someone chooses to have fun. Because there's always people who are going to be, that's not, and they're going to try and troll you and say this is not the real experience. Screw those people. Seriously, piss on them. Well, don't do that. They might like it. There's some weirdos out there like R. Kelly, so you never know. There's people into that shit. So naturally, I'm able to grab an extra couple of people there per poll. I mean, some of them are so low, they're not even giving me any experience, but as you could see, I was gonna say, as you could see, I could still get my ass handed to me a little bit. So I just take my time. But the stress is completely gone. It's like, oh no, I might have to walk back from the spirit. Whoop-de-doo shit. But that extreme again of the hardcore classic, and then on top of that, the self-found mode, and then switching over to this, it's an absolute delight. Like I said, it's a completely different kind of fun. On my hunter, I much more take less things for granted, right? Every little weapon or piece of armor that I get is like, oh my god, it's like a big deal. Here it's like, yeah, and but I still get to play on a server that's pretty much full. It's packed. You can see all the people here. No, seriously, it is absolutely nuts. Whereas on just Classic Era, I'm not gonna lie, I almost don't even want to play Classic Era anymore. It's not hardcore. It's not self-found hardcore. And it's not Season of Discovery or whatever they're called, or Season of Mastery prior to this. And they all offer something unique, a unique spin on things. Now, arguably, hardcore and then self-found mode brings the original friggin' World of Warcraft to its knees and then some. It makes it somehow even wilder than what the original one was. And again, I just absolutely love that difference. So for me, coming here, getting a little bit more gold, a little bit more experience, get some skills you normally wouldn't be able to get. It's not going to be for everybody, but you know what? The server population speaks for itself. And yes, my light is off. I just kind of realized, I was like, ooh, it's kind of nice. Doesn't feel so bright. I was also out in the sun for quite a few hours. I went hiking. And basically, I'm tired of the bright lights. We don't need to see me in perfect lighting. Nobody needs to see that. There's that life bloom. And then what's cool about it is, along with a little rejuvenation, watch my health bop all the way to the end. I'm the final boss. You know, like The Rock if you watch wrestling. I'm a huge wrestling nut. Night 2 of WrestleMania is coming. Very, very excited for that. I would say stoked, but it reminds me of staked I don't know. It's a weird word for me. I know what it means, but I just like the word excited. It's a good enough word for me. And because of I can't even speak. And because of the dual spec, what I was going to do is I had a Tauren Druid, and I was going to keep him balanced. I was going to keep this one feral, but now that I have dual spec, it's like, might as well just stick to one. So because I'm doing the Tauren Prot Warrior, they're absolute beasts. I am going to keep my Druid and have him be the dual spec. Yeah, so just kind of grinding this out. Hoping to finish it fairly quickly. Only because I am excited to get to the next zone. That's done. Okay. I remember doing that, like I said, on my 12 or 13 Druid. I was not pulling them the way I am here. For very obvious reasons. Yeah, so we're near the end of the guide. And I'm not too sure where I'm going to end up after that. Pyrofrost is actually a pretty decent name.
Hail to the night.
Whether or not he buffs me is another thing. That little turkey bastard. I also got the Spark of Inspiration, increased critical strike chance of spells by 4%. Melee range. Oh, that's not the one that gives me the speed. That's the Black Fathom buff. There's a lot of cool world buffs. Oh, that's what I wanted to say. The world population speaks for itself. Because the regular classic era, which just doesn't have anything, there's nothing new. It's just a standard experience for the most part that you would have gotten in 2004 to 2007. It has a very low population. Like, the population is atrocious. It is low. There's some servers for seasonal shit that is locked. Locked, you say? Oh, yeah. And I'm on a Care Bear server. I don't care. I don't need to be a tryhard anymore. I used to do that before I was the best. That's all I did. 18 hours a day as I would play WoW. Of course, I was kicking everyone's ass. I had the gear. I had the skills. I was putting in the time.
What can I do?
I was doing arenas literally over a dozen hours a day. That's not normal with the same, like, couple of people. Our synergy, how we think, and all that. It's no wonder that I did good. It's not because I was actually, like, I was doing good, but not because I was naturally talented. I'm a humble guy. Because I put the time in. Right? The same thing in martial arts. People used to say, oh, wow, you're doing so good. That's crazy. How fast you're just advancing. It's like, well, I'm here 4 to 5 times more than everybody else. I was doing like 6 or 7 classes a week. The average that they recommended was that you do too. So most people did like Wednesdays and Fridays. I was there Monday through Sunday. And I think on Saturday mornings and Wednesday morning, I would do the morning class on top of that. So there was some times where I was cranking almost 10 classes a week instead of 2. So mathematically, I was literally there quintuplet as much as the average person, right? So when people go, oh my God, you're advancing. Well, fuck, I hope so. Look at the time I'm putting in. I'm getting out what I'm putting in, right? What would have made me talented is if I would have been able to just show up there twice a week, but yet be as good as somebody going 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times a week, right? That to me is talent. There's a difference. To me, it was just the hard work that I was putting in that was paying off. Plain and simple. Nothing more, nothing less. Same thing with my illustrious WoW career doing arenas. I came very close many times with different compositions to being Gladiator, but to be honest with you, I don't really care. I don't even have screenshots of me being Challenger. I kind of wish I did, in a way, but I honestly just didn't really care enough to be all like, yeah, look what I did before. Me, it would have been more for the nostalgia of, oh, look at that old screenshot, more so than what the screenshot showed, if that makes any sense.
You got my attention.
So that's, more so what it is for me. We don't need the milk.
Safe travels.
Now I could hearth here, but to be honest with you, I don't know. I'm just enjoying roaming. It's not like it's super, super far. Because right now my hearthstone is set there. It was still set to Dolinar. But yeah, this could end up being like the new way that I play WoW. Like I said, once you've invested as much time as I have, not that it's a competition, call it a shortcut, call it whatever you want. And this might sound like I'm exaggerating, but I'm going to tell you this right now. Apart from doing Wrath of the Lich King Classic, which I did for a little bit until they ruined it by saying they're doing Kata and they're not making Wrath of the Lich King era servers, where it's going to stay on Wrath because they're not doing that as of the making of this video. Aside from my Wrath Classic experience, I haven't had this much fun since, well, 2019. When that's like half a decade already, when that stupid pandemic shit started. When they came back with when they came back with WoW Classic. Which was like before any of the expansions, the experience you would have known again from 2004 to 2007, for the most part. I mean, I've had some fun here and there, and then before that, it would have been, the OG, as they call it, Wrath of the Lich King, which started in like 2008, ended around 2010-ish. 10, and then 19 Classic started, so that was almost a decade. So there's been very few instances, in the past 15-ish years or so, where I've really, really loved, with a passion that burns brighter than 1,000 suns, this game. And right now, I think this is going to be one of them. Because of the double XP, only to 39 or 40. From 40 to 50, you can go up to 50 now. That was cool, because for the longest time, I think even 25 was like the highest level. Fly to Ironforge.
What can I get for you today?
Oh yeah, I've already buffed you.
See you soon.
I've already given you the buff. Why I'm talking like that, I don't know. Yeah, so this could be the future for me. Where you still get to experience, like I said, the same zones as you would have known before they did anything. Although I do really like Burning Crusade, and I really do like Wrath of the Lich King. But let's be real. Where am I going? Ironforge. I want to make sure I don't botch it. So let's talk about this for a minute, because we got a few minutes while I'm flying, and you enjoy the scenery here. Let's zoom it out a bit. I forget what I was going to say now. Oh, so even with Burning Crusade, not to be like all like an elitist or anything, but even when they came out with their first expansion, they had already started nerfing the game. Like literally nerfing it, like removing elites. Remember, like outside of how can I forget this? Scarlet Monastery, SM. I remember going there as Alliance, and it was difficult. Well, because first of all, I was on a PvP server. You'd get your ass handed to you, and even if you got there and you were slightly underleveled, or you were around the right level, you couldn't even get in Scarlet Monastery. You couldn't even get in the goddamn dungeon. There's two reasons for it. Either the Horde was whooping your ass, or the elites, the mobs outside of the Scarlet Monastery would stomp a mud hole in you. Right? Now, even in Burning Crusade, they removed them from being elites. That was already starting to be the downfall. You could have added new skills, you can add flying, you could do all those shit, but the moment you start literally making content easier, part of me goes, it's quicker, it's easier, my time is more respected. But the more it's also where it's not as fun because things are just that or easier. Then you got the heirlooms and all. And listen, I use the shit out of heirlooms when they're around. Oh yeah, my guys are decked out, and of course they are. They're there. Like if I see a bag of chips in my kitchen, oh fuck yeah, I'm gonna eat it. But I'm not going out of my way to go to Walmart to get a bag of chips. But if it's in my face, sure, I'm gonna take it. Right? I'm not completely crazy. Where was that other place that I used to love going to that was really juicy? Well, I'm gonna tell you. Tyr's Hand in the Eastern Plaguelands, just southeast of Light's Hope Chapel. Well, this is a place that I used to go to with my rogue to pickpocket, do lock boxes and all that shit. And they were all elites, and I remember being able to take on like maybe one or two at a time, maybe two at a time, with some really good gear, but I still had to eat between every other fight. And it was a challenge to get a lot of my gold in there. Like I said, once you get to, I think it was Burning Crusade. I think it was Burning Crusade. They just nuked them right away. The elites. Now, it could have been, it may have been, during Wrath of the Lich King, but the point is I understand people's argument behind, you know what, even Burning Crusade and Wrath of the Lich King did some things that didn't make it feel truly classic. I mean, to me, the classic, you know, it's funny. I want to call this World of Warcraft, where there's no expansions, classic. But I want to call classic Burning Crusade and Wrath of the Lich King the classic era, because it's still in that era of it being relatively classic before the world was forever changed by the Cataclysm in the Cataclysm expansion, right? That, to me, was the epitome of this is no longer classic. I mean, you could fly wherever you want. They just did so much shit. I don't really know what's going to go on now for, like, where we're going next, but whatever. I'm having... Ah, shit, we're not going to make it. Mother... Oh, that pisses me off. In all my years playing, you prick. Now, I've had that happen for... Oh, we weren't supposed to take it. Okay. I've already done this quest. How many times have I done it? How many different characters have I been playing?
Hey, be seeing you.
You know, that's the sound that little thing does. Don't ask me what word that was. Or what sound that was. I don't know what happens if you get hit either by the... I would panic when I was on hardcore and I would run to the tram. Like, what happens if you get smacked by the train? This is a very bizarre quest, but hey. Yeah, I'm getting there. I forget what I was saying now earlier. Oh, about the classic era. Like, to me, that era of, right, classic. It would make sense in my mind to name it as such.
Need assistance? My, you're a tall one. Hi, how are you?
And that's because you're a shrimp. That little gnome bastard. I like him. I'm just, you know. I'm tempted to make a gnome mage. And honestly, like, getting back to the whole Cataclysm thing, I'm not against them kind of like revising like every expansion from the start, just moving forward. But I truly feel it was a mistake not having even a Burning Crusade era server, having a Wrath of the Lich King era server. They gave us they gave us World of Warcraft, the original no expansion era. They allowed us to do that. We weren't forced to go to BC, but from BC we were forced to go to Wrath of the Lich King. Most people didn't complain because if you were already on board with BC, you wanted to go to Wrath anyways. But what about that small percentage of people that didn't? Again, the more options you have, the more people you cater to. And if you have just a few servers, you don't need 50 of them. Just like even one server. What do you end up doing? You end up literally catering to everybody, and everyone's happy. Don't do this, it's dumb. Have a server where you don't do that thing. Hey, do that. Some people would like that. Have a server where you do that. Where you do, right? That's just how I see things. So this whole seasonal stuff, right now season of Discovery Phase 3, oh, it's just such a fresh spin on the classic experience. Like I said, it's really something to behold. It's very hard to find the argument that this is a dumb version of WoW.
Very good.
I kind of want to see what happens. And you know what? 20 years playing this game? 20 years. 20 years. Well, come this November, but whatever. Close enough. What happens? What happens? I almost am tempted to like just go down because I've always wanted to explore it as well to see like what it looks like. I don't know if you can mount here. I mean, I don't have a mount, but on another character someday, if I do have a mount, I would be curious to kind of check it out and just sort of see what happens. Truthfully. Kind of interested to see what would happen. Has anyone ever done it before? Oh, that's what happens. Okay, that's why you don't get run over. Well, I don't know. They did that on purpose. Okay. Okay, that's cool. I thought it touched the ground. Shows you how much I know. I will never claim to be an expert just because I've been playing a game for that many years. Doesn't mean I know it all. We are now... Well, we're nowhere. I am in Stormwind. I always poke fun at YouTubers that are like, alright guys, we're here. We're finally here. We made it, guys. Together, we did this, you and I. Yeah, no. They sat there on their lazy asses watching you do all the work. They didn't do shit. They did nothing. How long have I been flapping my gums for? A half hour. This is longer than... Oh. I look like that? Because I didn't even have my light on, see? That's what it would have looked like. With my dollar store light. Anyways. That'll be enough. Half hour? I mean, let's be real.
You got my
Who's even
attention.
going to watch me for 30 seconds, let alone 30 minutes? Really? Wants me to go back there? Aren't we done with that shit? Anyways. Thumbs up as always if you did like the video. It does greatly help support the channel with that algorithm in trying to make me more relevant in the search results when people are looking stuff up. And if you didn't like the video, go ahead, give it a thumbs down. I'll bend it in half, I'll twist it, and I'll break this thing off here in your ass. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, naturally, I would like that. But if not, that's okay. Thanks for stopping by anyways. Take care. And if I'm lucky, maybe I'll see some of you in the next one. Bye for now.